I don't know how to start, so I'll just start. It's Drink with James, episode 66. Almost the mark of the beast. If we're still doing this at episode 666, I'm probably just gonna fucking end it, you know? That'll be the last show. If we get to 666, I'm fucking done. I'll be nearly dead, probably. How long will that be? 10 more years? Yeah. I'll probably have already, like, you know, had to go to fucking rehab for alcoholism, so I won't be able to drink anymore. I'll be like kombucha with James, and then that won't be very interesting. But we're just at 66 today. As you know, I was in France last week. If you didn't see it, then joke's on you, because I haven't even been on my vacation yet, but I'm sure it's going to be impossibly chic and lovely and fun. And so if you missed out on it, then you missed out on it. So joke's on you. What else has been going on? So I was on Twitter this morning, running my mouth, as I do sometimes, and I was laying out this idea that I have talked about for like a year that I think is a great idea, which is that I think Vogue should abandon their 12-issue-a-year magazine and just do 4 hardback coffee table-sized books a year, just with editorial, maybe a few articles, but essentially stop being like 12 times that Bella Hadid like killed it in New York City, and just do what Vogue is really good at, which is doing insanely high-end, beautiful editorials and huge photos with the best photographers, models, and designers in the world, and then getting the fashion houses and stuff to create custom ads for Vogue that are 4 to 10-page editorial spreads. So the brands can also have, you know, this kind of special place 4 times a year to kind of expand on their brand story. Some people thought it was a good idea. Some people thought it was a terrible idea. I think it's a great idea. I don't see Vogue surviving the next 10 years if they don't do something drastically different. Legacy businesses don't survive just because somebody wants them to or because they used to be really important. Every single business in the world that has been affected by the internet has gone through this, and if you don't change, you end up left behind. Will Vogue still be around in 10 years? Yes, I think it'll still be around in 10 years. Will it be as important? It already isn't as important. And a lot of it is because what's going on in the influencer space and the way people are consuming content has changed so much. I don't think Vogue can beat influencers at their game of giving daily actionable advice to people. And so I think the way they should go is completely swing the other way and do what influencers can't do, which is shoot with Annie Leibovitz and Mario Testino in, you know, Versailles with incredible gowns and the best teams in the world and makeup and hair and all this stuff, and just go hard on that and make the subscription, like, instead of being $8 a year, make it $150 a year. That's my idea. Anna, it's free. Take it. It's yours. I don't fucking want to work at Vogue. I got my own shit to do. So we're going to move on. I'm looking to attend more events while traveling in LA, New York City, and strangely Toronto to network. Tried PR and influencer companies and they don't work. How can I get invites? Great question. So for some context, the person who asked this question has about 10,000 followers, which, congratulations, that shit's hard. But how do you get invited to more events? So, bummer that PR and influencer companies didn't work. The event scene in New York City is run by PR companies, so you do have to get onto those lists. Once you get onto the PR company's list, you're invited to every fucking event in the world that you never wanted to go to. But getting on those lists is just a matter of finding the right person. So I'll give you a little insider advice in New York City, at least. The big ones are probably LaForce and Stevens, HL Group, Purple PR, PR Consulting, KCD. Those are kind of some of the big firms that handle most of the fashion houses in the city. There's certainly hundreds and hundreds of others that are running events and doing different things for brands, but those cover a lot of the events that are going on in the city. So, you know, try and find somebody that works at those firms, email them, say you'd love to be put on a list of, you know, for any upcoming events. Take a look at their client list. If you've covered the, you know, if you've done coverage or done posts for some of those clients before that they represent, send those posts along. Hey, I know you have these 10 clients. I've posted about them before. Here's links. I'd love to be included for any events in the future. I think that you find that they probably will add you to those lists. But it is about finding the right person at the right company at the right time, which can be hard, but you know, just keep trying, keep emailing people. These are big companies. They also are companies that have a huge amount of turnover. I think every one of those people, every agencies, maybe one's not a client. Most of those agencies are clients of ours. So we know how quickly they turn people over. They're just big companies and they employ a lot of young people. And you know young people, they have no loyalty. I'm just kidding. Millennials are great. But people do move around a lot, so you have to try a lot of different people. And I think you'll find that once you're kind of on the list, then you're like folded in and you'll get invited to everything. So try those companies, start out there, see if that works. We've talked before about how important events are, and again, if it's me and I'm an up-and-coming blogger and I want to meet brand people or I want to meet people at these agencies, I'm going to all these events. I'm going in the first 20 minutes when nobody's there. I'm finding the person with the clipboard who's nervously looking at their phone or looks like they're working. I'm going up and introducing myself and trying to find the person that works there. You should not, you know, you shouldn't leave an event until you've gotten 5 business cards, and that takes getting out of your comfort zone a little bit, walking up to people and saying, "Hi, what do you do?" And if they're like, "Oh, I'm a, you know, radio host here in the city," have your 1-minute conversation with them and get out of it until you find that brand person or the person that works at the agency. And make sure you get that card. Make sure you follow up the next day. Hey, I posted this photo. Hey, here's a screenshot of the Insta story I posted, whatever it is. Follow up with something so that they remember you. And then hit them up a couple weeks before the next time you're in the city if you're traveling to New York. Hey, remember me? I met you at blank event. Or, you know, you actually probably just follow up inside that same email so that they see, oh, right, I remember this person. They came to the event. They emailed me the next day. They sent me a screenshot of the Insta story they did. They seem buttoned up and professional. They're coming to the city in 2 weeks. I will take that meeting, or I will invite them to the event that we have going on. So do those things. It's a bit of a long play, but if you do that, you know, maybe not the next time you visit New York, but 2 or 3 times in, I imagine you'll be much, you know, you'll be in much tighter with a lot of these agencies. Yeah, so, you know, these agencies, they might kind of test you out in events that aren't as desirable. But this is a, you know, this is a scratch your back, I'll scratch yours kind of industry in a lot of ways. And you can't expect to meet somebody at KCD and, you know, you exchange 2 emails and then they invite you to the Marc Jacobs show. Like, that's not going to happen. So you do have to prove yourself, and sometimes they'll invite you to events that, you know, maybe they're having a harder time getting people to come to, and certainly a harder time getting coverage. It's almost more important to go to those events and prove that, like, hey, I'm here to help you out as well. Like, I know you have a job to do. I know sometimes that job is difficult. I'm here. I said I wanted to get invited to events. You invited me. If you don't love the brand, you should probably just still go and say hi because you did ask to get invited. You ever do that? Like, somebody's like, you know, you're talking about you're doing something this on the weekend. Oh, what are you doing? Oh, I'm having barbecue. Oh, I'd love to come. And then you're like, yeah, you should come. And then they don't come, and you're like, what the fuck? Like, you asked to be invited. You literally invited yourself, and then you didn't come, which is really annoying. So if they are emailing you, if you do ask to get invited and they invite you, and you're like, oh, I don't really want to go to that event, then like, I wouldn't really expect to work with them much in the future. Because if it's me and I'm that PR person, I'm like, fuck you. Like, were you just going to pick and choose like the events you want to go to? Like, that's not really how it works. So. Look, this is your job. This is your livelihood. You're allowed to ask to get paid. First thing I would do, okay, James Nord's guide to getting fucking paid. Here it comes, okay? Step 1. Once you you've signed the contract or you've done the agreement, whatever it is, make sure the brand has everything they need to pay you. They're going to need potentially, I never remember if it's W-9, W-2, I don't fucking remember, but they're going to need some form from you. They might need an invoice, they might need a PO, they might need God knows what, they might need your fucking birth certificate, some of these brands. It gets very difficult. And so that is step one. I would ask that right when you sign the contract from the beginning. What does accounting need from me? What can I send you? What information do you need from me? So ask that up front, make sure that that is taken care of. And then if you're supposed to get paid 30 days in, then, wait 30 days, reach out. Hey, just want to make sure everything's tracking along on time, et cetera, et cetera. What happens to a lot of people is they're supposed to get paid 30 days after they post, let's say. 45 or 60 days after they notice they haven't gotten paid, they reach out. Hey, I haven't seen payment, wondering what's going on. Oh, you need to fill out this new vendor form. Okay, fill it out. From the second you submit that form, then they're going to put you in the queue, and it's going to be 30 or 60 days from there. So that is why it's really important from the beginning to make sure you ask them, like, what forms do you need? Do you need me to fill anything out? Like, what do we need to do for accounting for me to get set up to get paid? And you can ask the person that you talk to in PR or marketing or whatever department you're speaking with. You can ask them if there's someone in accounting they should speak to, or if they, invoicing goes directly to you. It's great if you can get connected to accounting, because then you don't have to, muddy the relationship with the PR person or the marketing person that you're working with on the collaboration. So sometimes they'll kick you off, sometimes kick you over to finance, sometimes they won't. But we've never been upset with somebody because they're asking us to pay them. Like that is what a contract is for. It says you have to get paid. A lot of times, the squeaky wheel does get the grease, and like you do have to be persistent. Like every brand is managing their cash flow by not paying people and pushing payments off as far as they can. And that is for big companies, big and small, are doing that. And so if you never mention your invoice, it's not that you're not going to get paid, it's that like you're going to get paid slower than somebody who follows up once a week and says, hey, just following up, we're now 2 weeks overdue, let me know when I should expect this. That is a totally reasonable thing to say, but I wouldn't get, so that's one side of it. Other side, I wouldn't get too bent out of shape about it. I wouldn't make a big fuss. I wouldn't say, I wouldn't accuse them of anything. I wouldn't cause any unnecessary drama. Again, understand that sometimes accounting departments are difficult. Sometimes the person that you're speaking with, the PR or marketing person, doesn't have the ability to push things through faster. They're doing what they can. They've sent it off to accounting. I've seen some influencers who have thrown a big fit about payment. And again, I understand, like, this is your livelihood, you need to get paid, but you don't have to turn it into like a fight. It should be pretty like, hey, we have a contract, just wondering when I'm getting paid. And try and keep emotion out of it. If somebody is refusing to pay you, that's different. That's, then you have a lot of other options, you have a lot of other things that you potentially want to be doing. But follow up consistently, follow up unemotionally, and you will get paid faster. Do you think going to profiles and engaging manually is a waste of time? If so, what can I do instead? Do I think it's a waste of time? I don't necessarily think it's a waste of time. I don't think it's a good use of your time. Again, I encourage y'all to think about this in terms of business, right? And so if you're going to a random person's profile and you start engaging, what do you think your conversion percentage on that is? 2 out of 100 follow you, 5 out of 100? I don't know what the number is. You could actually test it. You could go and engage on 100 people's profiles, and you could see how many of those people follow you. If it's 30 people, well, that might be a good use of your time. If it's 2, that's probably not a fucking very good use of your time. So I think that might be a good first thing to do, is just actually test it and say, like, what do I, then, you have to try and build some metric for figuring out how you can grow. So if you say, okay, I am going to engage on 100 people's profiles every day for a week. So that is 700 people, new people. I generally gain, let's say the week before I gained 50 followers. The week after I gained 80 followers. So I got 30 followers out of the 700 people that I engaged with. I can't do the math. Tim is a math major. He can maybe just like throw it up here, what that percentage is. So you take that and you say, okay, 30 new followers a week from this thing that took me 5 hours to do, not a very good use of your time. But you should, if you're in a situation where you're trying to grow, you should be thinking about things in that way. Trying experiments, trying to track it and see what's working or what's not. You're probably better off, trying some new type of content or, trying video, which you didn't do before, something like that, rather than just going and blindly engaging in people's profiles. I think there's this, and we talked about this a little bit in the last video. I think I rambled a little bit, but there's this idea of like, again, the product market fit and real sustainable growth that's just going to kind of happen, and people are liking what you're doing and they're engaging with it and they're excited about it. And then there's marginal gains, right? There's things that you can do to take your growth percentage from a 1% to a 1.5%, or from a 2% to a 3%. Those things are important, but they are marginal gains. They're not going to, you going and engaging on other people's profiles is not going to take you from 10,000 to 50,000. There's just no way that you could possibly engage with enough profiles authentically to have it fucking matter. So like the only thing that's going to bring you from 10 to 50K is producing really great content that people want and they talk about and they, tell their friend you have to follow this person. Like that's the only way it's going to happen. Like getting from, 10 to 55K instead of 50K, yeah, that's probably possible. You could probably get another 5K or another another percentage point or two by doing all of these things that we talk about. But those things are marginal gains, and you have to have the fundamental, again, as we would say, product market fit of like, do people give a shit about what you're saying? That's the first thing. Focus on that early, and then we'll fix all the other shit later. So listen, y'all, I'm going to France tomorrow. I think you guys are great, but I'm going to get the fuck out of here. Ciao, as the French say.